goes, "Oh yeah, I remember that now." You know, I mean, it was like it kind of clicked. You know, and he's like, but there was seriously about, you know, like Josh said, 6 to 8 feet where the wall was just clean. That was from Bryson's right rear quarter.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and these guys, and I mean, even the modifieds too. These guys are running so hard. Is that the top two guys that were trying to battle for the, for the top position? They came up and with 2 laps to go, body slammed the wall because they're trying to get everything out of their cars. It was so crazy to watch. I mean, you even sat there and watched Clay Daly. Clay Daly sat there and drove 4 cars that night.
Yeah, he was
all
very,
weekend.
Yeah, 4 different classes of the 6 that were there.
Mm-hmm.
We've got, once we get the footage in the hands of the Magic Man, Sam Pettit.
I'm telling you, we have some.
We've got some footage that is absolutely phenomenal.
Dude, we sat there and before we were leaving, Sandra had it on the computer and we were kind of watching it and stuff. And then Corey calls me over and Warren and we all kind of watched around it. And I'm not going to give a lot of things away, but I'm telling you right now, I'll give it to Bryson James and how cool and calm that kid is in the car. Actually, Mike Patterson's calling in right now.
Very cool.
Moxie Mike.
Moxie Mike, what's up, brother man?
Hey, what's going on down there, guys?
Hey, buddy.
Chilling like a villain, just talking about how our Christmas party went this weekend.
We were in the Jetstream Walker Massage Studio and hanging out, and we were just kind of talking about you and the gang down there and the racing from the Bud Nationals, man. How you doing?
Oh, we're doing good. We're preparing for some rain, so I think somebody might have left a sprinkler on a little long out here.
Well, I'll tell you what, that forecast that we're about to get up here, we have a little bit of rain coming in. We did talk to Mother Nature about what happened last year, and she said that she wouldn't mind bringing a sprinkler or 2 down towards your way.
You guys need it.
Yeah, she said prepare it for Saturday night, so 5 seconds, it might be, 5 hours. We're not quite sure, but hopefully it's after the races.
So let's talk about the race a little bit. We're talking about, how the track on the first night, because, you're down there and everything. The track on the first night went from being a heavy, heavy track, which we thought that would be to the end of the night, actually turned into a dry, slick track at the end.
Yeah, it was really weird this time around. A lot of people, including the locals, were fooled by it. Everybody thought that the track would stay heavy and, not dry out till maybe the very last feature. But,
it actually
before
started,
the features even started, it was starting to dry out.
Yeah, I started doing that towards the end of the heat races.
Very interesting.
So,
yeah.
So
it was getting dry quick. I mean, when we did our pre-show, you guys saw it. It was basically drenched in water and pitch black. By the time the heat races and the lights came on, it was glossy blue.
Yeah,
that's the craziest thing. I was talking to Joel up here about when you brought me down to the track and you showed me, the difference of this clay that we're used to is that when you touch this, what would be wet clay, it would, stain your hands and everything else, and everything that you had, it didn't stain our hands at all. It just kind of like just sat there.
Yeah, it's that's the part of the thing with the gurus that Bakersfield has on their dirt. They make sure that, what's supposed to be there is what's there. And, they try to fool us, but at the same time, they try to keep everything going and keep it pretty consistent throughout the year.
So talk to us a little bit about, since you're down there and everything, you deal with Santa Maria Speedway, you deal with these, deal with 90% of these drivers that we saw at Bakersfield this weekend, except for some of the out-of-towners, Washington, Oregon, Arizona, Montana. What type of feedback and stuff have you heard from Moxie being down there?
It's been nothing but praise. A lot of the people were like, where's this group been, forever? They remember Corey and I from last year, and they said what we've done in the past 365 days has been outstanding, and it's just improved immensely.
Well, I will tell you that as day one, Josh and I are walking up the stairs with track announcer David Sullivan. He starts looking around the racetrack as he did his walkthrough. He comes back up to us and he says, "Man, this Moxie thing's gotten real big in the last year, hasn't it?" I said, "Yeah, it's grown quite a bit." That being,
I don't know how long the signs got up there. I have no clue.
That was Linson Sign and Mike Patterson.
Do you hear that? You hear that, Mike?
Nope, I didn't hear it.
I said that was Linson Sign and Mike Patterson that got all that done. That was phenomenal. I mean, we were everywhere.
That was all Linson Signs. They were able to knock those out because, to show you how good these guys are, they didn't get the final designs and the final logos until Tuesday. Those things were ready to go Wednesday night.
It's true. That's my fault because I was waiting on. Actually, I can blame David Stahl. I was waiting on his logo. I'm selling you out, Dave. But we got him, and I forwarded him straight to Mike because I wanted.
Did you guys just see that? Did you guys just see that? That bus just came over and Dave Stahl got thrown under it.
He's smashed. He looks like a clown under there. So this was I spent some time. We all spent some time after the races talking with Scott, and I wanted to share. I haven't told any of these guys here. I haven't even told you, Mike, but. This was yesterday. This was yesterday. I'm sitting here at work, and I get this text that came to my phone, and it was from Scott Schweitzer. And I wanted to read you guys on the air.
Well, hold on before you do that, Corey. Are you driving right now?
Nope,
Mike.
I'm sitting home.
Okay, for some reason
I'm not leaving for another about hour or so.
Okay, for some reason there's something in the background that's clicking. So if you're by something that's making a ton of noise,
turn the TV, turn your volume down.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's a lot better. Okay, go ahead, Corey.
Okay, so I'm sitting here at my phone.
I was right by my router.
Okay, yeah, that's what it was. My phone goes off, and I get this. It says Scott Schweitzer. So I open up the text. I wanted to read you guys this on the air. I wanted to surprise you, but this is what Scott said to me. He says, "Hey, I went back and listened to your races and your post race Spreaker page. You and Josh and Mike all did a great broadcast. Thanks for adding the element to our event. You and your entire crew were top-notch. Please tell them I said thank you. I don't get a lot of free time during events to thank them myself. I feel bad about that." I mean, for the track owner to send you a text that says that about, Moxie Media and what we did down there, he did say that we were very professional, respectful, and he loved what we did and the element we added. I mean, that to me, I'm proud of you guys. Well, I'm proud of what we did as a group down there.
It was definitely a hectic first day. The first day, jitters, everything else, and trying to do 3 commentators at one time, and then trying to do the musical chairs and everything else on top of that. Not taking anything away from Bakersfield announcers, Soley and Smith. Those guys are top notch when it comes to being announcers down there at Bakersfield,
right.
and it's such a pleasure to be able myself. I mean, you guys have been down there. For me to sit there and to be in such recognized announcers booth like we were,
the Mike Mosier Tower.
Yeah, the Mike Mosier Tower, and then to be able to work with everybody. I'm telling you right now, dude, I had such an amazing time.
Yeah.
It was crazy. Night number 2, 10,000 times better. Well, we had the sound system working.
The thing about it was night 1, we didn't have the proper connections to connect our sound system to theirs. So there was a lot of action in between races. They'd be up for 2 races, and then we'd come on for 2 races, and we had to go back and switch some audio cables on the system from ours to theirs, and it was just complete chaos. Night number 2 was better. We went down to the local guitar center, bought the right connections, hooked up, and it was just like on point, nice and flow. But it was crazy because instead of going from slow to fast like most racetracks do, they would have fast cars in the middle, and then the local announcers would be up for 2 races, and then we'd be up for a race, and they're up for 2, and then we're up for 1, and it was just constant musical chairs.
I think Scott Schweitzer had a hidden camera up there somewhere just to see us move back and forth, just to get a kick out of it, and he did it on purpose.
But we got it figured out.
That was hilarious.
Yeah, it was.
5 guys, 3 microphones, different races with only 2 chairs.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
It was
Chinese fire drill to the extreme.
Big time. In an announcer's booth. It was.
Oh, Joel. The funniest thing
you just made Joel mad, Mike.
You just made Joel open his eye.
He's actually Japanese, but,
Oh, that's funny. No, I'm going to tell you this, too. The coolest thing is that I've never been to a track that the promoter owner has his own suite. Now, let's talk a little bit about this, too, because this is something I want to get into with both you guys and kind of tell Joel about how privileged our wives, for one, were, how we were as announcers to be able to be there. Now, speaking on that is, if you look up at the Mike Mosier Tower, to the right of it, you have Scott Schweitzer's suite, and that's where he sits. He doesn't sit there and he doesn't tell his crew what to do. He doesn't tell the flagger what to do. He doesn't tell his ground crew. He doesn't tell nobody what to do. He's just on the radio saying, go into green next time around.
Yep, he is the race director,
right?
And that's
He's
all
the
he
race
does is
guy.
Right. He talks to the guys in the receiver. That's it. Other than that, he sits back and watches everything happens. And
That's
he's a smart guy. Now, what Josh is getting at is when we weren't announcing, when Sully and Smith were on the mic, we would step out of the Mosier Tower and we'd go to the tower to the left. Now, as you walk in that tower, this tower is nicer than most of my friends' apartments or houses.
Dude.
Okay, it's got a refrigerator. It's got a black leather couch, mirrors. It's all carpeted. I mean, it's absolutely
So we're talking like college football skybox level.
better.
Way better, dude.
Better.
So if you went, okay, we'll put it like this: if you were an owner of an NFL team, okay, just the surrounding the lamps, the flowers, the carpet on the floor, the whole atmosphere. I mean, if you basically went into like a major Hilton hotel and you got the suite, the $1,500 a night suite,
it's bad to the bone, bro.
that is exactly what you got. Now, mind you, you see how long our studio is?
Yeah.
That's how long this suite was.
So you're telling me Martha Stewart went dirt track racing?
Pretty
yes,
much.
she did.
Oh,
and Scott Schweitzer sat there and did say this, is that you don't thank me, thank my kids and my wife, because that's the reason why that tower's there.
He said, thank my wife and my daughter.
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely phenomenal. So
Oh,
to say
wow.
that our wives
just
were
don't know
comfortable at the racetrack, to say they were comfortable it's
Air conditioning, 2 air conditioners.
Yeah.
They were on a setting that basically wasn't too cold and it wasn't too hot. It was just right. It was literally
Right.
like the porridge.
What's cool about that tower, too, check this out. What's cool about that tower is as you're looking out the windows, if you want to add a little element of an atmosphere to it, you can slide those windows open.
Every single window, there's like 1, 2, 3.
Huge windows.
I think there's like 8 windows.
And you can slide them open, okay? What's cool about that is you can lean out the tower, and about 8 feet below you are the fans, and you can communicate with them. I mean, it's like the fans are looking up, and they're talking to you, and it was like, it was a pretty neat deal.
We'll
That's
put it
awesome.
like this. At Willamette Speedway, and Mike, you've been at Willamette Speedway. If you took the suites that we call suites up there at Willamette Speedway, okay?
Yeah, the VIP boxes.
Oh, okay. So if you box them in, okay?
Uh-huh.
If you basically put trim around everything, caulked all the windows, everything,
Mirrors, leather
mirrors,
couches, carpet.
You'd have to make them into like a studio apartment.
exactly.
And basically, that's what it was.
And it was about, I'd say, 4 of those boxes long.
Shut
Yeah.
up.
Dead serious.
no.
Dead serious.
So how big was?
It's literally the size of a single wide mobile home.
Yeah.
And
I'm
there's
in
no
dirt track
joke.
racing. I know what that's about right there. I don't care what you say. Gator done.
Yeah, that's literally no joke. So, Mike, when you've been there and stuff like that, how just kind of give the excitement and just the atmosphere of when you first walk in there.
Well, that was the first time I've been in that room, and I've been up there for a few years. That's the first time I've been over there, and I was shocked. And I've seen the place, but I've never been inside. And the first time I went in there, I was shocked. But what was more interesting to me than the provenance of the place was the story behind it, the reason it was made.
Right.
That's right. We talked
For
about
those
that
that
stuff.
don't know, it was that's because of his family. His family needed a place to stay. He wanted to keep track of them without having to keep leashes on the family.
Right.
So he had them all there. And before that, he was over in turn 3
Oh, the
and
Sugar
had
Shack.
the
Sugar Shack.
what they call the what they call it, the
Sugar
Sweet Shack?
Shack.
The Sugar Shack, yeah.
The Sugar Shack.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had that out there. So it shows the evolution and the family atmosphere that has grown with that track.
Let me talk about the Sugar Shack real quick. This is one of the neatest places to view the race at Bakersfield
This
Speedway.
is actually really cool.
It's a little shack that sells ice cream, snow cones, anything that's cold and sweet, okay? On top of that is a deck with tables and chairs and a fence and railing, and you can sit up there and watch the races, and you can literally watch the cars come out of turn 2 and come straight at you and pitch that car into turn 3. It is a cool view. Okay,
right off the fence line. Dude, it's bad.
Josh and Sandy and I and Trish, we walked down there. It's right in the concession area. And we stood at the apex of
we
3.
all went up there.
Yeah, Mike was there. We went and stood at the apex by the Moxie sign that was in the apex of 3 and 4 in the concession.
No.
And we're watching these cars come straight at. This is I'm talking about the sport mod feature, okay? We're watching these 3
Oh,
dudes.
the Pro Stock.
Or,
The
no.
Pro Stock feature
Okay, well, this is night number 1 I was
that we
talking
were
about.
watching.
We're
Oh, okay. You guys went night number 1. Night number 2, we did it for the Pro Stock.
Right. So night number 1, we're watching these pros the
Sport mods.
sport mods. And we're standing at the apex, me and Josh and Sandy and Trish, and we're watching this battle for a second. The leader's gone. He's got almost a half a lap. The battle for second, and this is not an exaggeration, this is the honest to God truth. The battle for second was 3 cars 3 cars wide for 7.